Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at QED Coffee Roasters El Salvador La Reforma. It's one of the coffees in this month's Coffee Lovers box. The QED is a fantastic small local roaster here in Seattle, Washington. They do a lot of really great work. I've been looking forward to sharing their coffee with you for some time now. They don't actually do descriptions of each of their coffees. They just tell you what it is and give you a note about, in this case, it's a naturally processed coffee. Now I've gone through and I've had my own experience with the coffee, of course, and you'll see my description of the coffee at the top here. And I say a taste of milk chocolate, cherries with a touch of molasses. So we'll get into that in a moment, but first, one of the things I love about naturally processed coffees is that the aromas and tastes are very strong, and that's really fun to discover. So, I mean, you can get that in wash processed coffees as well. It's just that there's extra oomph in a naturally processed coffee. And the basic difference is that in the processing of the coffee, so a coffee is essentially, that grows as a fruit that looks like a cherry, and each cherry has, here's a coffee bean, each cherry has two of these. Sometimes they have one, and that's a special case, but they usually have two. And so the coffee is grown as the fruit, and the fruit's picked, and then you have to remove the fruit and a few other layers in order to get down to the green coffee version of this that is then roasted and becomes your coffee. In the natural process, you allow the fruit to dry off first, kind of raisins on the around the seed, and then it's mechanically removed, usually in some kind of mill machine that just squeezes out the fruit. So in doing that, it imparts much more of the fruit sugar into the seed. And then we get wonderfully, almost pungent. This is a really jammy smelling coffee. Like, it's complex and rich and fruity, sweet smelling, and like cherry jam. Like if you just took some cherries and mashed them up, probably added a bit of sugar and maybe cooked it down a little bit, it'd be very richly smelling like this is. So let's get into the brew. Now I've brewed this up on the V60. You can brew it up any way that you like. I usually do a Kalita wave, but I've been exploring the V60 lately, and I've got a recipe I really like. So, ooh. The brewed aroma of this is much more like fresh fruit smelling. This is like fresh fruit cherry smelling. That's really nice. So the rich complex sugars in these coffees will go really well. If you like to add anything to your coffee, if you like to add milk or sugar or cream or whatever, feel free to do so. I always recommend that you try it by itself because you might be surprised at how delicious and rich the coffee can be just on its own. This coffee, it floats between milk chocolate smoothness and cherry juiciness, and then I say a touch or a hint of molasses because there's this like rich sugar bite to it that makes me think of like how molasses kind of hits the edge of your tongue. It's almost super fruity, but there's so much chocolate in it that it doesn't get that way. With a combination of milk chocolate and cherries, you might say, well, is it like chocolate covered cherries? And it's not really like that. It's like too juicy for it to be like that. It's almost like a fruit juice, but there's so much chocolate in it that, like milk chocolate and cacao, that it's not really like a fruit juice either. Super delicious coffee. So that has been QED Coffee Roasters El Salvador La Reforma, and as I describe it, tastes of milk chocolate and cherries with a touch of molasses. That is one of the coffees in this month's Coffee Lovers box. You have until Friday, March 2nd, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time to place your order for this box. After that time, orders will close, all the coffee will be roasted and shipped. The Coffee Lovers box is $30 and there's free shipping for US addresses. You can also subscribe monthly and save 10%. So if you want to discover what some of the most delicious coffees in the world taste like, don't hesitate. Go grab yourself a Coffee Lovers box before time runs out. Thank you for watching.